But first on oversight, because it obviously is extremely important. $2.2 trillion pushed out the door, $500 billion. Steve Mnuchin has tremendous discretion. The president immediately signing the legislation with a signing statement, essentially Xing out many of the oversight provisions you put in. There's one person appointed to that sort of oversight panel right now who was just profiled and doesn't have a verified Twitter account. Do you and Congress have the capacity to actually make sure this is not incompetently or corruptly distributed?
Well, we have to. In addition to the panel that you referenced, and that will be in place, I have named a select committee on the challenge of the coronavirus, and my colleague, the Democratic whip, Mr. Cogburn, is the chair of that. That is predicated on a committee called the Truman Committee that the then Senator Truman instituted during World War II, the very beginning of World War II. He said at the time 116 investigative committees were formed to investigate the defense spending on World War I. So he said how much better it would be in World War II to have an investigative committee at the time. Right. And so it would be to fight waste, fraud, abuse, price gouging, profiteering, and the rest. And that is this committee is modeled off of that. And it will have investigative authority, subpoena power, and that. And I don't know why the Republicans take offense at it. Why wouldn't they want to fight waste, fraud, abuse, price gouging, and profiteering off of the taxpayer dollar, which is destined to fight the coronavirus as it attacks the lives, the livelihood of the American people?
Final question for you is just about the urgency and timeline here. I mean, someone raised the idea of remote voting, right? I mean, you've got Congress, you've got 435 people. They come into a room. There's all kinds of staffing around each other. Everybody right now is physically distancing. It's very hard to make Congress work. People raise the idea of virtual voting with you. You said that was not going to happen. And then Steny Hoyer said this. Members are advised that absent an emergency, the House is not expected to meet prior to Monday, May 4th, 2020, which is a long time away. And also, I think a lot of people read that and said, what do you call this now if not an emergency?
Well, it is an emergency, but what the distinguished leader was referencing in terms of urgency of passing a bill. We do think there is that urgency, but we have to get some agreement on the part of the Republicans that something the president will sign. We need that signature after all. But here's the thing, because you raise it and then you quote one thing that I said. What I said is we're giving I've tasked the chairman of the Rules Committee and the chairwoman, that would be Jim McGovern, and Zoe Lofgren, chair of the House Administration Committee, the two committees of jurisdiction, to present options to us. What is allowed under the Constitution, under the rules of the House, what is possible technologically. But we haven't gotten to that. But on this Thursday, Jim McGovern will be making a report on what he sees as some of the options. People think we can do Congress by Zoom. Zoom is a Chinese entity that we've been told not to even trust the security of. So there are challenges. It's not as easy as you would think. There are other options, proxy voting and the rest, which other people tell me have constitutional problems. So this is not as easy as you might think. And when we do it, we're going to do it right. But in the meantime, we hope that we will have testing, end this, and then be able to come at least in the numbers necessary of a quorum in order to do the work, the people's work. In the meantime, I'm so proud of our members. They're all working very hard, 24/7, teletown meetings with community folks, smaller telemeetings and the rest, so that every single day we have hours of feedback from them as to what is happening out there, how the initiatives that are out there so far are working or not working, but all of them committed to saving lives, insisting on the truth to do so, and again, opening up to our economy when the health folks tell us the time is right.